Hi, this is Mobin, and today I'm gonna talk about this assessment called Brief Electricity and Magnetism Assessment, or BEMA. As an overview of the assessment, this is a Brief Electricity and Magnetism Assessment, or BEMA, and it is developed by Chavez and Sherwood from the Department of Physics from North Carolina State University, and it is designed to assess students' understanding of basic electricity and magnetism concepts, which are covered on the college level calculus based introductory physics course, which are usually the first level university courses here. So let's talk about the structure of this test. This test has 31 questions, all of them on basic concepts of E&M. The whole test is a 45-minute test, and it is originally designed for a retention study measuring the students' knowledge of E&M at times ranging from 3 months to 5 semesters after completing an introductory E&M course. And so the test itself can be used both as a pre-test and a post-test, although it is stated by the authors of this assessment that the pretest is not necessary, and it could be skipped since the result of the test are quite uniform between different students and different colleges, and I'm going to talk about this in more detail. So, more on the structure of the test. The concepts in the test include force exchange between charged particles, moving charges inside an external field, basic concepts of like charge distribution, how they distribute. It talks about the circuits. It talks about the basic concepts of E&M fields. Uh, Also, lastly, the basic concept of induction and how electricity and magnetism actually relate to each other. Um, it is useful to note that some of the questions were adopted from the works of the others prior to this work. And yeah, so as an example question from this test, I would like to show you this test, which is like it says that in these three circuits, all of the batteries are identical and have negligible internal resistance, and all the light bulbs are also identical. And now rank of the five from the brightest to the least bright, and it basically tests the fact of you knowing basics of circuits, basics of resistance, and basics of parallel and in series circuits. And yeah, so so that was the assessment. Now I wanna quickly review uh, a review of this assessment, which is done by this paper, which I have noted below. So this assessment was tested and assessed by 8 faculty members over 5 years. So as I said, the pretest scores are usually uniform and does not vary between different students and universities, and it is usually around 23%. It means like before taking the course, it is usually about 23%. Now the test itself was done for 189, 245, and in total 434 different students at 2 different universities. And the average post-test result is around 42%. So from 23% to 42%. And yeah, so the assessment of this test was done using this statistics. And so, um, now we're gonna review the reliability of this test. So the reliability and discriminatory power of the brief electricity and magnetism assessment, or BEMA, was evaluated by 5 different statistical tests, or statistical parameter. Now, out of these 5 parameters, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide, 3 of them focus on individual items, which in our case, items are the one of the 31 questions, and 2 of them focus on the test as a whole. And the results indicate that the result of this reliability test indicate that BEMA is in fact a reliable test with adequate discriminatory power. Now, lastly, I'm gonna talk about these 5 parameters that was used. So, first parameter is item difficulty, or P, which is a number between 0 and 1, and as the name suggests, it tests the difficulty of each individual questions, and the P indicates like a general idea of the individual difficulty. It is desired to be more than zero point 0.3, and BEMA got 0.47 and 0.37 at different universities. The second one is the item discrimination index, or D, which is a number between -1 and 1. The ideal value should be more than 0.3, and we got an average of 0.34 and 0.32, which is again more than the ideal value for this uh, index. And this index basically talks about how each question is discriminative, or each question how does it distinguish between a student that knows the material or not. And the third statistical test is something called R of PBS, or point by serial coefficient, which is a number between -1 and 1. It is desired to be more than 0.2. The average it got is more for 45, 42. Again, it passed the test, and this point by serial coefficient is a measure of consistency of the test item with the whole test. So it is also a test for individual items, and it actually measures how consistent each question is with the whole test, with the goal of the whole test. Now these 3 are the individual parameters. These 2 are the general parameters. So the first general or whole parameter is the KR parameter, or Kuder-Richardson parameter. Um, and this actually measures the self-consistency of the whole test. It is a number between 0 and 1, desired to be more than 0.7, 0.8. It got 0.85 at both universities, again passed. And then lastly, it is the Ferguson's delta. And this Ferguson's delta is basically talks about the discrimination of the whole test. So this item discrimination, or D, talked about discrimination of each individual items, yet this Ferguson's delta talks about the discrimination of the whole test, and it is a number between 0 and 1, and the desired number is usually very high, 0.9, but it got almost the full mark of 0.98, which means that it is very well distributed, because this Ferguson delta basically measures the distribution of the scores, or the variance of our scores. So as you can see, all of these tests passes. The test passes all of these 5 different statistics. Yet BEMA is cool. Yeah. Thank you.